Let's go back to a specific date, November 20th, 1995.
A huge day. A day that really sent this institutional shockwave through the British monarchy.
And it all starts with the secret interview at Kensington Palace. The cover story they used was just astonishing.
That they were there to install a hi-fi system?
Yeah.
It's incredible when you think about it.
And the impact was immediate. Nearly 23 million people in the UK tuned in.
Worldwide, the estimate was closer to 200 million. The BBC, they immediately called it the scoop of a generation.
But the scandal behind that scoop has, frankly, overshadowed everything since.
It really has.
So in this deep dive, our mission is to analyze what we're calling the scandal that recast the crown. We need to get into the interview itself, but also the deceit used to get it.
And the consequences. The lasting consequences for Diana, for the royal family, and for the BBC. This isn't just about what she said. It's about the entire mechanism she was up against.
Okay, so to understand that, let's start with the context. The fairy tale of the 1981 wedding had been shattered for years at this point.
Oh, long before. I mean, you can go all the way back to the engagement interview.
With Charles's infamous line.
Whatever in love means. Diana herself said that was just devastating for her.
And in the interview, she speaks so openly about the internal pressure she was under, her postpartum depression, the self-harm.
And what she called rampant bulimia.
But she didn't frame them as, like, personal problems. She was very clear.
Exactly. She called her bulimia a symptom of what was going on in my marriage. It was a coping mechanism for feeling completely dismissed.
So by 1995, Charles and Diana have been separated since 1992. They're living in this really awkward state of ambiguity.
That's the perfect phrase for it. A strategic stalemate. They're married, but they're not together.
And the monarchy's just trying to, what? Kick the can down the road?
Indefinitely.
Yeah.
Delay the scandal of a divorce. Diana's own private secretary said that even then, the hope was for some kind of royal reconciliation.
Not a romantic one, I assume?
No, a strategic one. Just a way to coexist and maintain the institution's image.
So if the institution wanted to delay, why did Diana decide to break her silence right then? What was the catalyst?
It was a deadline. She believed she was facing an imminent gagging clause in a divorce settlement.
Which would mean what exactly?
A total silencing. A legally binding agreement that would stop her from ever speaking about the marriage or the family publicly again.
So for her, it was now or never.
Precisely. This was her one shot to control her own narrative before she was muzzled for good.
Which brings us to the interview itself and the bombshells. Let's start with the line that went around the world.
The one about Camilla Parker Bowles.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage.
It was a bit crowded.
Yeah.
In one sentence, she confirmed everything. All the rumors, all the speculation. It was undeniable now.
She was also incredibly frank about her own life, confirming her affair with James Hewitt.
Yes, she said, yes, I adored him. But then she immediately framed it with her own sense of betrayal by him. And crucially, she also admitted something huge.
That she'd cooperated with Andrew Morton's biography back in '92.
Right. Which showed she was never this passive victim. She was actively fighting her corner out of desperation for years.
And she used the platform to sort of redefine her own role. She said she didn't think she'd ever be queen of the country.
But that she wanted to be a queen of people's hearts.
Yeah.
And that right there is the constitutional challenge.
How so?
Because the crown's power is traditional. It's inherited. Diana was talking about a different kind of power, one based on public affection, on a democratic connection.
It put the monarchy in competition with one of its own.
Exactly. And the whole interview was designed to, frankly, denigrate Charles and question his fitness to be king.
Right. She was asked directly if he would succeed the queen.
And her answer was so suggestive. She said, being Prince of Wales is demanding, but being king is equally more demanding. She forced a public conversation about whether he was up to the job.
And that forced the institution's hand.
It had to. The monarchy cannot tolerate a public debate about the heir's competence, especially when it's started by the mother of the next heir.
But the thing that complicates all of this, the core of the scandal now, is that the interview was secured through lies.
Flat-out deception. And this is where the story turns to a massive institutional failure at the BBC.
For 25 years, this part of the story was mostly hidden.
It was. The centerpiece of the whole thing was forgery. The journalist, Martin Bashir, faked bank statements.
What were the statements supposed to show?
They were designed to convince Diana's brother, Earl Spencer, that people close to Diana were spying on her, selling secrets to the security services.
Naming specific people she trusted.
Yes. Her own private secretary, Patrick Jeffson, he was basically framing her inner circle to isolate her.
So he was exploiting her paranoia?
He was feeding it, spreading these awful false rumors to make her feel like she had no one to turn to except for him.
So he ensures she does the interview without any of her usual advisors?
Exactly. Without anyone who would have warned her about the consequences of what she was about to do. And it all came out decades later in the Dyson inquiry.
The 2021 report, right?
Which found Bashir guilty of deceit, and that the BBC's first internal investigation in 1996 was woefully ineffective.
A cover-up?
Essentially, yes. A quarter-century cover-up of their own malpractice. The BBC eventually had to apologize, pay damages. They even returned the BAFTA award they won for the program.
So let's talk about the reckoning for the Crown. That interview was the tipping point.
It was the point of no return. Within a month, the Queen herself wrote to Charles and Diana.
And what did she say?
She advised them to divorce. It was an official, institutional move to contain the threat she now posed.
The divorce was finalized in August 1996, and Diana lost her title, Her Royal Highness.
And that was a huge blow. It wasn't just symbolic. It had real-world consequences for her security, for her funding. It was a formal removal from the protective bubble of the Crown.
Her private letters from that time are just heartbreaking. She called the process desperate and ugly.
And she admitted she never would have consented to the divorce if she'd known what the tremendous cost would be.
And her brother, Lord Spencer, has directly linked that cost, that isolation, to her death.
He has. He suggested the BBC's appalling deception left her vulnerable because it made her mistrust the very people and security protocols that should have protected her.
Her sons have said something very similar. Prince William said the lies contributed to his mother's fear, paranoia, and isolation.
And Prince Harry blamed the ripple effect of a culture of exploitation.
The BBC has tried to put this to bed. In 2022, they announced they'd never air the interview in full again.
Right. They won't license it out either. It's an admission that its history is just too tainted.
So when you look back, the key takeaway is that this wasn't just a tell-all interview. It was a political act.
It was a political nuclear bomb. It forced the monarchy to choose.
The ongoing scandal of a critical, undivorced princess, or the quick, clean scandal of a divorce.
And they chose severance. Total institutional severance. It was a containment strategy.
But there's a final sort of paradoxical detail to this whole story.
There is. A biographer noted that on the day their divorce was finalized, Charles and Diana actually met.
And what happened?
They sat down together on the sofa, and they both cried.
Wow. After all of that public bitterness, a shared grief.
It suggests that maybe the institutional pressure, the Crown itself, was the real enemy in their relationship, the thing that made them both so miserable.
I'm sure. So here's the thought to leave you with. If the institution was the source of the conflict, did the divorce, forced by this horribly deceitful interview, did it paradoxically free them?
Did it remove the one thing that prevented them from finding some sort of personal peace with one another?
A problem that, tragically, required an act of deceit to resolve.
It's a powerful idea.
You've been listening to The Deep Dive, where we uncover the stories shaping history, media, and global institutions. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the facts shining.